Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes now. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's Sutton Podcast, and joining me this evening, it's pitch black out there, so it's tonight. I've got welcome back to David Mears. Hiya, David. How are you?
Thank you, Mike.
Very good. And Mark Bravery. Hiya, Mark.
Evening. Yeah, just about recovered from yesterday's near trauma. Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. We've also got hanging around a little bit early, we've got Rob and Jim, who are going to pick up a load of pointers to hear about what we're going to do at the weekend. And they're from the Boro Walk blog, sorry. I'm so used to saying podcast. Hi, Rob. Hi, Jim. You all right?
Yeah, very well. How you doing?
Good stuff. So firstly, before we start, just come back from the ladies' match where we won 4-1 against the New London Lionesses. We got Darcy scored a great opening goal. Fern scored a goal which I'm fairly sure is quite a rare occurrence. Definitely judging by her celebration. And then Darcy scored another, and Liv scored her usual goal as well to make it 4-0, and then we let one in to make it 4-1. So very Sutton United. But they've started to put together a few good results. Younger guys might be interested to know we're away to Bromley next week. So if you want to go and watch the ladies at Bromley, you can sing all your songs to the ladies team. I'm sure they'll be delighted to hear them. We do have to talk about yesterday. Sorry to say, it was a long trip. David, I know you didn't make the trip because you get to watch it on iFollow service. How are you feeling sort of pre-match? Okay, I'll move to you, Mark, because I'm not sure if David's hearing me.
Okay. I was up there. It was a trip I was quite looking forward to. I enjoyed the previous trip up there, which was 3 seasons ago. But as we all know, I mean, there was a red card for Omar in the 3rd minute, which basically ruined the game as a spectacle, certainly for the away fans. And there seems to be a little bit of mixed opinion on that red card, but most people seem to think it was harsh and that a yellow would have been more justified in those circumstances. And once we went down to 10 men, we were obviously always up against it. Playing for 87 minutes plus stoppage time with a man down, and it was no great surprise that we ended up losing that game. A brave effort from the lads. We didn't stop trying, but certainly once Stockport went 2-0 up, there was only going to be one outcome really.
Yeah, I don't know if you could come in, David, or not. Your connection showing is quite weak. So okay, I've obviously seen it back. The only thing I'd say on it is this referee. He's had, I think last year he averaged about 8.5 yellows a game and 0.8 of a red per game. And when you see him give out a yellow so early, because he booked their player, I think after about 10-15 seconds. To my mind, you've just got to behave yourself for a little bit. You've got to just think, okay, we can see what the ref's going to be. Don't do anything silly. Their manager's very kind, come out and said there was no malicious intent or anything like that. But the tackle was above the knee, so you can see why the ref gave it. And I think if it had been the other way around, we would have been screaming for it. Had the two roles would have been reversed.
It wasn't really a tackle. I mean, he was just going for a high ball, and he just accidentally caught their player. Admittedly, it was just above the knee, so it was a high boot. So a yellow card would have been entirely warranted.
But, especially as the yellow earlier was for a similar-ish tackle, but it's difficult. David, I could hear you cough then, so maybe we can hear your thoughts now.
Yeah, there's a bit of a problem with the connection there. Sorry about that. I think it's all been said, really. It was just a day to forget, basically, and move on to the next one. So it was just like life itself. There are good days and bad days, and it was a bad day. So it was clearly provoked by the sending off, and after that, very well. I mean, I thought Craig Eastman was brilliant. I actually got fixed on the fact that in the last minute, virtually, he was still running around like a crazy guy. I was really impressed by that. But what can you say? Just wipe it and move on to the next game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen various different comments from various different people. I mean, we've got the same talk about people now sort of complaining that strikers aren't scoring enough. But I'm still of the opinion that if we get a striker that comes in and scores a load of goals in a few games, he won't be with us for very long because it'll just be someone that will swoop in and buy them. And you look at Salford, they've got money. And Santi Thomas, he left them very, very quickly because he did well and another club came in and took him. So we're never going to hold on to a great striker who scores loads of goals anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys think, but I think that we've got a little bit of what in the music industry they call it a second album problem, right? Which is you've had your whole life to write your first album. And I think this year it's just there was a lot of momentum to the team coming up from the National League. It was a very, very clear 11, really, or certainly 13 or 14. They've been playing together for quite some time. It was a very established team. And we've lost some key players. There's been some bad injuries. And I don't think these are excuses at all. I think this is just reality that it's trying to blend in some new players. Some are fitting in probably better than others. It all takes a bit of time, and I think they're doing pretty well, really. I mean, we're still, way off the relegation places. I don't see any real cause for concern, and I think, managers done an amazing job over the last few years. There's no reason to start panicking now. It's just you're bound to get some bad results, and we're not going to win every game. So it seems to me we just have to kind of keep going on, and I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it probably didn't help last season. We did so well. If anything, we've massively overachieved last season.
Yeah, so, a little bit.
Had we done this last season, people's expectations would have been a little bit tempered. And now we're being a bit more realistic with what's going on. I think people go, well, we're not doing as well as last season. No, we were never going to do as well as last season.
Yeah, I think last season was a kind of quite a remarkable season, really. And we can name names, but we've lost some pretty important players. So Ben Goodliffe and David Ajiboye and Richie Bennett. So these were all important players in the team. They weren't peripheral players, and that makes a big difference. And I think the people coming in are doing absolutely fine, but it's not the same. It takes a bit of time to get that level of consistency and the understanding and the team pattern and all of that. So I don't know, am I in a minority of one here? That's kind of how I see it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've also got the fact that we've had to play Adam for the last several games. He's moved up from Conference South a few weeks ago because we've got no Ali and no Harry in the middle. Any team's going to miss either one of them, but we're missing both of them, so it's a bit difficult. But I mean, we didn't have an awful lot to show. Donny did a lonely plough up front. He did get joined late on, which I'll be honest, the substitutions, I wasn't sure why we were going for it. Maybe Matt thought we could nick a point at that stage. Lewis palmed, it seems, for the goal. Again, I don't like doing this, but again, he made a save and it landed right at their players' feet. And it's like, how does this keep happening? How? And again, a player a guy in form, I think he scored 5 in the last 6 or 6 in the last 5 or something. You just don't want that kind of player getting the ball at his feet 2 yards out from goal, do you?
To be fair to Lewis, there was an earlier incident where I think the ball bounced off his chest and rebounded to another Stockport player who shot, and Lewis made a second save, made effectively a double save. But obviously, he wasn't so successful with the goal you just described a bit later in the match.
Yeah. The third goal though, that was a bit of a special one. I know we were dead on our feet and pushing. Why we were pushing forward, I don't know, but their third goal, I was convinced when I first saw it. I was like, how did that even get in? I'm sure that went hit side netting. But how did that look on the iFollow?
I was just going to pick up on what you said about the substitutions, Mike, there for a moment, which is that I don't have the footballing brain that our manager has, but it just struck me that really it was just making sure that we rested some players and we got some other guys on to have a run and see what they could do. And maybe if there was a little goal that could have been nicked, maybe that would have just reignited the fixture, but it didn't happen. So,
yeah, I think when the second goal went in, Matt thought, "I should just go for it." So he moved briefly to 3 at the back. He moved Rob Milsom into midfield. Took off. I think it was
I think
Adam.
Adam came off, but I think he just had a knock.
He may have done.
I think
that may have been influenced. I didn't know that may have influenced Matt's decision. He also brought on Tope alongside Donovan. So we played with 2 up front for a while, 3 at the back. But that obviously helped for them to get their third goal. And once they went 3-0 up, Matt went back to 4 at the back. He brought Sam Hart on, took off Will Randall, I think. So we only played that kind of rather risky attacking formation for maybe sort of 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was Adam had a knock, and obviously, as mentioned, got no midfield. So Matt got out the bubble wrap and just was like, right, bring him off. Bring him off. We don't care who goes on. Surprised we didn't get Dundo on again. But you guys, you have got the difficult job of picking between you 4 players for the player of the day. So I'll be coming to you in a couple of seconds. David, I'll start with you, but here it is.
Watch me do my dance. I'm the player of the day.
So here we go.
Okay, does it have to be 4, Mike?
We're going to do 4 between the 2 of you.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to take. Can I take Craig, please?
You gave Craig for your first one. No worries.
Yeah, I thought he was. He went all the way to the end. Had not a very nice injury a week or so before. Came back strongly. Very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, who's your first choice?
Well, I'll go for Donovan because I think he had about our only shot on target during the match, and he did bring a save from the home keeper. Yeah. And he was playing alone far up front for most of the game, and I think he deserves to be in the hat there.
I'll try and spell his name right this week because I was writing Donny last week and I just did D-O-double-N and I was like, oh man. And David, your second choice?
Yeah, Josh.
Josh?
Yeah, on the basis that I thought that he had 2 or 3 in the first half. He had 2 or 3 good running forays into the opposition half. And I thought that was where we were most likely to make something happen. But it became more and more difficult, I think, as the game went on. But he had a go. So that's got to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then, Mark, you can finish off for me.
Yeah, I'll go for the other white man, Will, because I think, both the white men did quite a lot running and, they were not getting a lot of joy, but they were making some forays into enemy territory. So I'll add Will.
Perfect. So we'll leave it there. It was a difficult game. We don't need to keep hauling it over the coals and discussing it and whatnot. We'll just gently move on and quietly put that one under the do not discuss section. We do get a little.
We thought there was going to be more outrage than that. That's why we're here.
No, we don't do that here. No. You're looking for Arsenal Fan TV. That's what you're looking for.
We're really not.
We quietly seethe and then just move on. But
yeah, we just seen some
say again.
No, we just seen stuff on Twitter where certain people are very, very annoyed about the red card. So we didn't know if anyone else felt like that.
Yeah,
but it sounded like it might be a bit cut and dry, but
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I'm not convinced an appeal is going to work, because when you look at the tackle back again, it doesn't look great, and the FA will only be looking at the tackle back again. Although their manager was very, very kind and came out and said he was like, well, do you know what? It wasn't a malicious one, so we might use that. But I don't know. I don't know how it would work.
It's so difficult to get stuff overturned nowadays, though.
It is, yeah. I mean, we did get one a while ago, but our cameras were on the right side of it. And what the manager and the assistant referee saw was totally different to what happened on the right side. It was where Craig got sent off against Northampton last year, because there was a couple of players blocking the view, and it did look bad, but our camera's on the other side. And it's like, actually, if you look at it from this angle, you can see it's nowhere near as bad. But gents, there's loads of little sound clips, and you've got a special one ready for you. Not just for you. No, it's for every away fan. That's not fair. It's every away fan.
If you pass it in a song, I'll be very impressed.
Basically, it's essentially, obviously, you support Farnborough, and we just want to know a little bit about yourself, what you do. Essentially, it's who are you? It fits everyone.
Fits everyone. Well, yeah, we're the Boro Walk. I kind of set up the Twitter handle basically November 2016, just as I started going back. I was a bit of a lapsed Farmer fan for a little while, obviously following, but didn't go as often. But then we started to go quite from just as we got relegated. So we were the opposite of Glory Boys. We'd gone to Southern Division 1, so we were the opposite of being Glory Boys. We decided to pick it out when we were terrible. And but yeah, I thought it might be a bit of fun. We used to call it, when we were younger, like teenagers, we used to walk to the ground, and we used to call that the Boro Walk. So we just kind of used that as a bit of an.
Well, that's not strictly true. The Boro Walk happened when we would walk. The best part of the Boro Walk was that we go to the McDonald's drive-thru after the game. Forgive us, we were only young, but we go to McDonald's, get our meals, whatever they were, and then put the brown paper bags on our heads, put eye holes in, and walk down. Sounds a bit silly now, but one of those things I did with you.
Yeah,
you had to be there.
When we were 26, yeah. Obviously, when we were about 12, 13, yeah. We both started at Farnborough early 90s.
91 was my first game.
And mine was 92. So we've been on off since that time.
30 years.
We, as Jim said, we got much more into it in 2016. I was very ill in 2015. I had cancer, which thankfully I'm all good now. And we kind of just wanted something that we could settle into, because we both kind of settled living locally, just down the road from each other. And I've got one of my young sons wanted to go along, so we picked it up again regularly. And as Jim said, it's just that happened to be that season when we started on our upward spiral.
Yeah.
From the, I probably shouldn't swear in it, should I? From the spiral of despair that we had leading up to 2016. And just we started the blog. We did match reports for a good year and a half. But we're inherently quite lazy, and now it's just a lot of kind of stupid, self-deprecating fun. Really, just trying to put a bit of light into the whole non-league football thing and gauge opinions on the teams we're playing and all that stuff.
Yeah,
just being able to laugh at yourself, because everyone's too flipping angles all the time now.
Yeah, there's a big hole in the market, because obviously we're not non-league anymore. We're big time, and the Gandemonian boys aren't there anymore to...
Yeah.
Well, I guess you guys are the kind of poster boys, aren't you? Obviously, Farnborough and Sutton have been kind of jousting at a similar level for ages, as much as I can remember. So,
yeah.
All of a sudden, you
don't worry.
Shut up.
It's all a bit weird. Don't worry. We don't really know what's going on.
I can't imagine it. I can't even fathom what it'd be like to have Farnborough in the Football League. I'd just be very, very insane.
Mark's been to,
won't see it.
Yeah, Mark's been to all or most of the away games.
Wow.
Not quite all. Most of them, yeah.
And he still isn't quite sure what the hell's going on either.
Well, it's still sometimes I look at the league tables in the paper on a Monday morning. I go, oh, well, Sutton are in there, League Two. That can't be right. It just seems odd seeing us in there, you know.
Yeah, I bet.
And Mark,
It's
when you go around all these proper football stadiums, what's it like?
I mean, the National
What's it
League is
like
a kind
going
of stepping stone, isn't it? Yeah, between non-league and the Football League, because there are a lot of ex-league grounds in the National League. So if you've been in the National League for a while, you get used to going to places like Meadow Lane, big ex-league grounds. So there's not, in that respect, not a huge transition from being in the National League to being in League Two. But yeah, it is a different, obviously,
Maybe
very different
the National
experience
League.
being,
We haven't
say,
been there for 20 years.
National
That's a
League South,
lot different now to what it was.
yeah.
Oh, there's you got to get back up into there because there's some real sulky teams in there. When you win a throw on against them, they get very upset.
I bet.
Yeah, I think you've seen it. Obviously, they were christened the belt.
We're belt hunters. We're on the lookout.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
I don't know.
And we love it, obviously.
Yeah, I bet. Have you been to that podcast with Nick Hancock called The Famous Sloping Pitch, where they hear the Oldham fan, and he just absolutely hates the fact they're in the National League. Very funny to listen to him, like complaining about having to go to Woking and Dorking. It's a different world. You can remember them being in the top league, but it just says they're very unhappy about it. Very.
Yeah, of course you would be. But as we mentioned, we
as well. And...
Yeah, we are big time, and to celebrate that, you guys have done a shirt. I could hear.
Yes. Yeah.
I could hear your tweet.
In the club's defence.
Oh no!
It's actually the shirt sponsor. It's the guys that make the shirts. I think he got a bit overexcited. I don't know if you've had a glass of wine or something and thought it would be a deer. I should a few shirts, but
well,
it won't either.
Yeah, in fairness,
if they come out half and half scarf, we're off.
But is it a while or is it?
Still makes it half and half.
How long is it since you're in the first round?
So we were last in the first round in 2003.
But that was his final town as well.
So it'll be that. It'll be
was
for
the season
that
after
reason that
we played Arsenal.
Yeah, so it'll be that kind of reason is why they're kind of doing it. It's
and also
let's say that.
Yeah. It's also the first time we've been in the first round of Farnborough FC, so I think they're probably trying to make it a bigger deal than most of the fans. I mean, we've got a lot of young fans now turning up, so they won't have a clue. They were probably barely born at that point when we, 15 years became. We started as Farnborough FC, so they probably won't have a clue. Some of them are about that old, so yeah, they won't know what it was like before. But they do walk around in the old Amanita red and white shirts and stuff. They're probably not really appreciating what that means now. But
they tend to buy everything that's surrounding the club shop. It all gets hoovered up by the kids.
Yeah,
you see these random talking around in like Graham Westy-esque. There's even one who's got a Farnborough Arsenal flag that he waves at the home games.
Yeah.
It's positively bizarre. But gets them involved, doesn't it?
Yeah. Someone gave that to me. They were I don't know why when we played Arsenal a few years ago, they thought they were being very kind, and they went out to the hooky bloke in the trolley on the high street and bought me a Sutton Arsenal half and half scarf. And they were an older work colleague, and I kind of just had to sit there going, "Thank you, that's very kind of you. You shall never see the light of day again."
Picture of me,
and then set fire to it.
No, I stopped the picture. Yeah, there's no picture. So you got our Kenny, and then you promptly sent him out on loan.
Yeah.
So we don't even get him to come back to us. How's the season been going so far for you guys?
So obviously we got promoted back in the last season. I guess we should say against the odds.
Against the odds, very much so.
And we managed to slide through the playoffs. Albeit it was down to the last day of the season as to who won the league. It was kind of way out of our hands on goal difference. But yeah, we screwed through the playoffs courtesy of one of Hayes and Yedding's players elbowing one of our in the face, and then
now he plays for us.
And yeah, what our manager kind of did was he's gone out and built kind of the all-stars team from the division last season.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought Met Police's best two players. We got a couple from Hay, and then he's also brought in Kev Locko for all the shot.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kenny came in as well, but he picked up an injury, and he's now at Aldershot, like you said. So the core of the team is the same as last season. And yeah, we've started really well. We just haven't been winning as many as we'd like to.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we had 8 or 9 games down, and we had only a small number of points, but our goal difference was kind of the goal difference was we were only losing games by a goal, and this buzz phrase of fine margins was flying around left, right, and centre in the manager's post-match interviews.
Missed 3 penalties.
Yeah.
In a row.
So we were really close, and yeah, we've had a tough set of games as well. So if you look at our league now, we've played most of the top sides.
Haven't. Yeah.
So the fixtures are starting to calm down a bit, and we're now stringing results together. So touch wood, that continue. I think how many unbeaten are we? 6 or 7 or something.
7. We was whole of August. Whole of October was unbeaten, and then obviously we won yesterday. So our second straight victory.
That sounds.
It's the first time we've won 2.
And we've been better away than at home.
Yeah, we have.
It sounds like just what we want, doesn't it, David? It's just the team that's flying, got nothing to lose. We just had our striker sent off.
The team that's ready for its first defeat in a while, So who should, from a Sutton perspective, which of your players should we be most worried about? Who are your form players?
Probably Reggie Young. He's very fast, very near to play for Woking. You may have come across him the last season. I don't know. You're in the conference. Marty's the guys on loan from Aldershot. Kenny Davis has gone the other way. And he was the one who elbowed our defender in the face and got sent off, so we won the playoffs. He's been starting really well. He's more of a winger than a striker, but our striker that we've got, Casimir, he's now sort of picking up. He's got a few, but he was like the least likely to be starting. He came from like the league below we were last season, so he was from Div 1. But he's scored about 5 or 6 now, hasn't he? He's been picking up. And
for me, Kev Lockhart at the back. He's an absolute rock. You can tell he's got higher level experience.
He played League 2, hasn't he? So.
And our defence is just playing really well at the moment. Touch wood.
Yeah. And I'll keep us pretty much.
Complain about it. It's quite weird. If we'd have done this a couple of years ago, this would have been a very, very different talk.
Yeah, because you named about 11 players in that. Who should we be worried about?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The team's been playing really well. We haven't had a weak link in the.
So yeah, when we've been losing games, it's been very annoying that we've lost it. It's been no one's fault. I mean, one of them was own goal for us to lose, but that wasn't really his fault. You know, it was just. It's been the fine margins has been the buzzwords for about a month or so now. But yeah, we're undefeated now for a month, so we had a good FA Cup run. We've won a few. This is that was our first win though on Saturday against a team that was in the Conference South last season. All our other wins have either been from relegated or promoted teams. So.
Yes, some weird.
Okay.
That was the first time. So that's it's another plus. So we're on the march, but you know we're not going to take the fact we're playing a League 2 team for granted. We don't. Anyone who's got big ideals, we were hoping for a cup upset, but you never know. But...
Yeah. I mean, the ground would have changed.
I was looking at the stats earlier. We've won at Sutton since 1989.
Oh, there you go. Omens are good.
So we're long overdue one as well.
I was going to say the ground's changed quite a bit since you guys were last here, hasn't it, Mark?
It has, yeah.
So yeah, you've got a brand new sort of away standard. It's segregated. We have to do segregation now, which is just daft. And you've got a little bar area behind it. Everything. It's all very, very posh, very big time.
Yeah, it's only got a fan zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a fan zone. We had our first fan zone pre-season at Dorking, and we rocked up, went into the fan zone, and I said to the steward guy, "Oh, can we get a beer and take it out to the pitch?" Because we were late, so it was about 5 to 3. He went, "Yeah, of course you can." So we bought the beers, went up, and he went, "No, you can't come in here, mate."
Yeah, you're not allowed to be in the pitch. That's why it's got to be the fan zones sort of hidden away from the pitch. But yeah, we had our first experience of fan zones at Wembley And because I got up there early, one of the guys mentioned, "Oh, could you just take lots of pictures of the fan zone?" And I was like, "Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be marvelous." And I got up there and sort of stood there and went, basically, it's about 4 benches, a mobile bar, and a fenced-in area. And he was like, "This is a fan zone, is it? Right, okay. Whatever we do is going to be on a par with this at Wembley." And yeah, we get some grief about it, but basically, it's somewhere to grab a drink and something to eat. So
I always thought the term fan zone was slightly bizarre because who else is going to be there?
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere to watch.
The zone would have done.
Yeah, the zone. Yeah. So my daughter's
you were in the zone. Yeah.
Yeah. A high school introduced an area of the school called the cool zone, and I was like, that was never going to work. I don't know what teacher sat there thought that up. Hey kids, it's the cool zone. Right. What are our predictions? We'll start with you, Mark. What do you reckon?
Oh, I'm going to go for 2-0 to Sutton.
Oh, you've gone big.
Not that big.
Fairness, we haven't lost goals, have we?
Only one.
Considering we don't score many goals, I think that's quite big. David, what do you reckon?
It's going to be 3-1 to Sutton.
Oh, my goodness. And we'll start with you, Rob. Go on.
I'm going to go 2-2 and then back to ours.
Okay, still goals everywhere.
Yeah.
And Jim?
I mean, I want to get a draw and come back to ours, and we're very stingy, but I'm worried about scoring against the League 2 team. So I'm going to go 0-0 back to us.
0-0, right? That's far more realistic. I think if it looks like it's 0-0 and we're heading into the last sort of 15 minutes, I think Matt's more likely to throw quite a lot at it to try and steal a win. Just because we've got quite a small squad, and I mean they're tall, they're not short squad, limited squad. So I think we'll try and nick it. So I was going to go 1-0 Sutton. Probably an awful game,
and you'll see all of these score lines happening. To be honest,
and you'll be going off shaking your head, going, "How do we lose that game again?" And just have a tale of woe to cry into your special shirts.
That'll be.
It'll be more like, "Oh, this feels not good."
Yeah,
but the good news is you'll be able to get the shirts. You'll be able to get the shirts cheap in the club shop afterwards.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Imagine if we win, then they'll have to do them again for the second round, whoever we get. Although that'll end up being someone from league probably. We won't get anyone big.
Exactly.
It does feel like we've got the first round, and absolutely no one is talking about us.
Yeah.
Like you had to get a microscope out to see us mentioned on the BBC draw.
Did you see Kevin Phillips' face when the team that he managed they got into the first round, and it's like, "You hoping for a big club?" Yeah, and they're at home, and he's like, yeah, and it's Forest Green. He went, "Oh yeah, I'm cameras on me. Yeah, great."
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to bring 7 people. Woohoo!
But the problem we've had as well is that obviously we were, obviously no disrespect, guys, but we were hoping for like one of the old top ends of the Football League, and then our closest neighbours, Bracknell, they were even closer to us to where the Bracknell is. So they were all they had showing videos around of when they obviously got drawn at home to Ipswich. It was it was a bit of an anticlimax, but
Yeah, one of our strikers is on.
He's on loan.
On loan there, but he's cup tied, so he can't play against them.
Yeah, because he scored, didn't he? For us.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's funny though, isn't it? Lovely. Because we are the top goal scorers in the FA Cup as well.
Oh yeah, we are. We are the top goal scorers in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Well, that's still in it.
That's still in it.
Yeah. Because you did quite a big result in the last round, didn't you?
Well, twice. It was 7-0, and before that was 5-1, wasn't it? 5-0.
Swindon 5-1.
5-1, yeah. Swindon Supermarine. So we scored 12 in 2 in the FA Cup, but don't expect to get a deal on. So that's why I think maybe. I mean, we're defensively we're pretty good, so I wouldn't be surprised. Or whether you'll nick it.
I think we've covered all the bases for cursing it either way now. So
I think we have. We have indeed. Perfect. I will put up there, gents. Thank you all for your time. I'll put this together and I'll tag you all in on the Twitter space, whatever it's called. And good luck for the season. Obviously, outside of Saturday, but we'll see you in the fan zone.
Exactly.
Or the zone zone.
In the zone. The zone zone.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers all.
Bye.
Cheers, Mark.
Bye.
David. Bye.
United! United! United!